Hello, Mr. Gibson Guy here. I have a new video for you. Hopefully this won't be too long, but it should maybe be of interest to you. Now, this video I am calling Signs of the End of the Ammo Shortage. And I probably should put a question mark on, like, are these signs at the end of the ammo shortage? I went out shopping early this morning, my usual Thursday morning trip, and went to Rural King, and I picked up 2 boxes of Tula 223 55 grain. I'm not a big fan of Tula ammo. I've used it in my pistols before. It kind of smells bad. It's nasty. Really makes the guns messy. I keep hoping that the Russians will learn how to make smokeless powder that's smokeless. But these days, everybody knows that we take what we can get, and we're glad that we got something. But I picked up a couple of these, so I haven't had any black boxes in here for a while. But now I got 2 of them. And there's 2 things about this which I found really encouraging. One is that this is the second Thursday in a row that I have gone to the same gun counter to pick up ammo. And one, they had something, they had a variety of something, and then the other one was that this was box of 20 was $4.99, $4.99, $5 for 20. That's 25 cents a round. So that is the price, as my buddy Steve told me when I sent him this and told him what I got. He says, that's pre-shortage prices. Well, that's good. All right, pre-shortage prices. Well, hey, the last ammo I got was 32 cents a round, so 25 cents a round. It's better. We're heading in the right direction. But the other thing that I pointed out, the first one, was that there was variety. In the past, when I had gone on the occasion that they had something, when I went, and I go in the morning, so I want to get it, when they first bring the truck up. But when I went and they had something, usually they would have like 1 case of 38 Special and 2 cases of shotgun shells. And of course it would zip out of there in about 15 minutes, it was gone. But last time I went, there was a variety of different cases of ammo that they had. And again, today, this morning, there's a bunch of guys before me, and I thought, oh, by the time I get up to the front of the line, the 223 will be gone. But they were buying everything else. They said, we got 223. Hey, give it to me, I'll take it. So I got it. All right, now, these I view as very positive signs with the ammo shortage. Increased variety, sign of lower price. It doesn't mean that it's over, but it's encouraging. And so I would go a step further here. That's what I have to report from my own experience here today, but I want to talk to you about something else that I saw. I watched a number of these videos on the ammo shortage on YouTube, and there's some regular YouTubers that report every day or two and go to different stores and report what's going on. And this one guy that I've seen a number of times, he's out somewhere in Central Texas, and he goes to a place called Academy Sports. He's got one near his house, and he's got one that's over in the next town. And he gets up early, goes by before the doors open, videos all the people standing in line waiting to get in and get their ammo. And then he goes inside and he shows they have a shelf that's like 30 feet long. It goes down here, and it'll have like 1 box of 38 Special and 2 cases of shotgun shells. And then the rest of it is all barren. Well, he came out with a video a few days ago that he made over a period of 2 days. The first day he went to the distant store, and then the next day he went to the store near his house and videoed. And in both cases, he showed video. The one you could see, he was looking just through the window into the store, and you could see that big long ammo shelves there, covered in boxes. And I don't mean that they were putting boxes of bananas up there or something. No, it was all ammo boxes that they were putting up there. And they had, he went in to the distance store the first day, and then he comes back and he shows he had bought 3 boxes of 200 rounds of 5.56 NATO ammo. 600 rounds he bought in one day, and there was plenty of it. And he didn't buy what they allowed him to buy. He could pick whatever he wanted and buy it. And he said, that's pretty good. I'm going to go to the store near me because they never have anything. So that's where I'm going tomorrow. So he went to the Academy store that's in his neighborhood. And he comes back and he shows you, he picked up another 200 round box of 5.56, and he also bought 2 500 round boxes of 9mm. So 1,000 rounds of 9mm and 200 rounds of 5.56 at one trip. And he says, I think that this is an indication that things are finally getting normal again, and that we are getting to the point where this ammo shortage will be passing. Now, what he saw in large numbers, I think, reflects also what I saw in my store in smaller numbers, because there was more variety and lower prices on what they had at my local store. And that happened 2 Thursdays in a row. Now, I only go on Thursday, that's been good. But most, usually it's about 1 out of 4 Thursdays I would get anything. Now, if I didn't get some, it's because I just didn't buy any of the calibers that they had for sale, but they had multiples for sale. So I want to go into a little explanation of why, now this is just my opinion now, why we might have had this thing and why it would be coming to a close, which would be great, wouldn't it? Okay, now, I saw the videos of the CEO of the ammo company that walks you through the floor in their factory where they're making all their ammo, and the forklifts are moving their boxes, their crates, and loading them up on trucks and waiting for ATF to approve the bulk loads and everything like that. And if you watched it, it was kind of unsatisfying. He sort of starts to hint around at things, and then he stops himself, and he doesn't really admit to anything. But one of the things that this CEO mentioned was that they were also fulfilling military contracts. And that just, as soon as he said that, I sort of pricked my ears up and said, and how much was that? And he just slips right into another subject. It just gets mentioned, and that's it, that there's government contracts for the military, and they have to fulfill those as well. So, how do the military contracts work out? First of all, if you follow current events over the past 10, 15 years, you'll be aware that during the 8 years of the Obama administration, the military had a lot of activity and got a lot of deployments and fought a lot of wars, but they didn't get much of any funding, very bare minimum, if any. And something that was happening was towards the end of the Obama administration, the military had to curtail almost all training and just barely had munitions to supply to the troops on the front line in different wars that we were involved in. Uh, and they were really down to no reserves at all as far as their munitions went. And Trump was elected, he came in, and he was aware of this and said, you know, we're going to supply our troops with the ammo that they need. And he got the Congress to put the money in to pay for what was needed by our military that had been long neglected. And how do these things work? Well, you have the Department of Defense, and they'll come up with an estimate. We need, let's say, 100 billion rounds, or 100 million, that's crazy, 10 billion rounds of ammo. And we need that procurement over the next 5 years, because if you do it all at once, then the ammo companies are going to have to make a massive factory, hire lots and lots of people, turn out all this ammo, close down the factory, sell the machines, and fire the people. So the way that they do that for large orders is that they spread it out over a 5-year period. And then each of the manufacturers that gets the contract say, all right, we need to hire X number of people, we need to have this much space to do 5.56, this much amount of space and machinery to make 9mm hardball. And we can divide it all up over the next 5 years, and that way we can keep up our regular production, and we can also produce all this contract for the military that we have and fulfill everything. So those things normally run smoothly like that. Hold that thought, and let me mention something from an article in Politico from 4 days ago. Under the Trump administration, the Trump administration left the Biden administration $30 billion fund for the trade war. That was their headline. Trump was renegotiating our different trade pacts and working out tariffs with countries like China. And in order to do that, sometimes for us to hang in there and be tough with these other countries, people like farmers or manufacturers may be hurt in the short run for this. So Trump planned ahead and worked with Congress to get this $30 billion fund set aside. So if farmers are hurt in the short term by a tariff trade war with, say, China, then we had money in reserve to make sure that they didn't go out of business, and we could keep them going until the trade war was over. Well, the other part of the headline is that the Biden administration has taken that $30 billion fund and they're redirecting it to their global warming efforts. Yes, that $30 billion to protect farmers and manufacturers in the trade wars. He's not worried about them. He's spending the money on global warming, the emergency we've had for the past 50 years. Yeah. So back to what we were talking about. We have these ammunition manufacturers who are producing these annual contracts for the military. And you have some of these people working in the Pentagon who've been doing this through a number of administrations. And say early in 2020, they're going to say, you know, after this year, we still got 2 more years to go on that the munitions orders that we have. Is Biden going to take that money and put it towards global warming? Maybe we should think about this, because if the Democrats take over and we still have 2 more years in that contract, they're going to spend the money someplace else. We'll never get the ammunition that we need. So what would they do? They would go to their suppliers and they would say, you know, that next 2 years of supply we need, Well, you gotta get it to us by the end of October, or you won't get it. They'll take it away and it'll go towards global warming. You can buy solar batteries from China and sell them at inflated prices. But that's where your money's gonna go. So we gotta get it now. Now, of course, what would the manufacturers do? They would say, it's a $30 billion contract. Are we gonna blow it off? No, we better get them what they need. So, all civilian orders and the regular supply to go to hunters and to sportsmen, that's going to get put on the back burner. Everybody is going to be going towards filling out 5.56 NATO and lots of 9mm hardball to fill the military order, because we got to get those done before September. So everything else stops, and they would work on that. And let me just, this is my theory here, and I would be remiss if I were not to say that I would not have a beef with the ammo companies for doing just exactly that. That is what I would expect them to do. And I bet everybody out there watching this video would demand the same thing. Yes, our troops need to come first. We need to supply them with the ammunition before that money gets blown away, or burned up over nothing. So that may be what happened. It kind of fits in with everything. And then if they finished up in September, or if they finished up in December, or something before January 20th, what would happen? Well, they would close down their mass production on military calibers, and they would reopen all the different machines and send everybody back to their regular jobs, making 38 special, or 22, or 380, or 30-06, and the regular amount of 5.56 that they would normally sell. And what would happen in the next few months, we would start to see more variety show up, because the manufacturers are making more varieties. I notice that the box is different than the old ones. It's kind of embossed differently. So the new stock of stuff is going to come out, and we're going to start seeing the shelves fill up and the prices to go down. That's what I'm hoping. Now, what the Biden administration pulls on this with taxes or tariffs or licensing, or who knows what they're going to think of. We'll have to deal with that as it comes up to us. But that is my suspicion, based on what I know from the past and from what I've seen. The last thing I'm going to say is that if you saw my last video, I had 500 rounds of NATO here, and we just added 40 more with the 2 boxes of Tula that I had, so I had 540. And I told you in the last video I wanted to keep a 500 round surplus. That's just the stock that I want to keep available. I went through, I've been shooting for a long time, and I haven't bought any ammo until this stuff in like 5 or 6 years. I just had a stock that I was using, and I went through the other day and just kind of did an inventory, and I found out that I had more of some stuff and less of some stuff than I thought that I did. The good news was I found out I had 1,750 rounds of 380, which is a lot of self-defense, and then I found out I had just over 1,000 rounds of 9mm, and that kind of surprised me, because I thought that I had closer to 2,000. So when the ammo starts to become more readily available and back at its regular prices, I'm definitely going to build up my supply of 9mm. That's going to be a couple more ammo boxes of that. coming around the corner as soon as this stuff becomes available. And the other thing is that I'm not going to keep 500 rounds of 5.56 or 223. I'm going to have 2,500 rounds when that becomes available in regular price. I will keep that just as my basic stash. 2,500 rounds of 22, I think I'm good there. I had 250 rounds of 12 gauge, various pellets, and that's more shotgun than I'm going to be using in the rest of my life. And I have 360 rounds of 30-30, which is enough for deer hunting for the next 5 generations. So I'm not going to wear out my Winchester with that, but so some of the stuff I was fine with, and 400 rounds of 45. I'm not a big 45 shooter, but I have a gun, so I got more than enough for that. So I'm pretty much set, but 9mm I'm going to want some more, and definitely more 5.56. So that's what I have. Hopefully this is gives people some hope for what's coming up in the future. And happy shooting. This is Mr. Dipsy Guy, out.